Good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is Dr. Rao speaking. Uh, I hope you are all doing well. I'm going to talk about a very intriguing subject with which I think you'll be kind of surprised and probably you'll get it, but you will be um, asking so many questions about yourself. Okay. Uh, this is a comparison of what happens to a wave when it gets born in a sea and what happens to it down the line when it goes and crashes on the beach and all that, right? So I wrote an article on this. I'm going to bring that link here and pin it on the Clubhouse. So let me go to the my connections. We okay. So that's the wave, the ocean, and you is the title of that article I placed on LinkedIn. So you can go and check it out. Anybody who's interested. Um, Basically, it talks about very number of waves happen in the ocean, and this small one also opens up and then looks around and sees very big waves next to it, and also very small waves next to it, and then he gets jealous of the big ones, and he kind of looks down on the smaller waves, but then he suddenly sees the shore of the ocean, and he says, "Oh, what is that? Oh, that's so and so shore." And what happens? Oh, we're going to go and crash there. And this wave gets them all murkied up and says, "Oh, what is that? We are going to die." And there's nothing else. But then the other waves tell her, you may crash, but you still remain the water you are. You see? It's like a comparison of the vast sea of consciousness, or Brahman, we call it, or just awareness, with which, out of which this shape and name of the individual is born, and the individual is growing as a separate entity, thinking it's a separate entity, and mushrooms into more like a wave, and evolves and then identifies with his name and form, and he forgets about the substrate, the underlying substrate, and goes to the end of the life, and then thinks that he is dying, and he's not thinking like he's going to continue as consciousness. So he will really feel sad for himself and be fearful and go through the process of death, and then really miserable, right? Whereas the one who is really understands who he is, he's not this body and mind, but he is the self within. He goes to the shore, knowing that he will still remain as the substrate, which is the soul or self or consciousness, whatever you call it, right? Then he knows the continuity of the water, because it's made of water. And here we are made of the consciousness, and the consciousness will continue, but we as body and mind will not be here after the life force is gone. So that is the story of that wave on ocean. The way I wrote about it is it's more like many people think that they are the body and mind, but they don't see that the body and mind are their instruments. So once you identify who you really are, then you can go through life watching everything, being the witness, and then you are not affected by the events. Just like a movie playing on the screen, the movie doesn't touch, or the events in the movie doesn't touch the screen, because the screen may have so much of activity going on in the movie, like it could be forest burning or big storms or earthquakes or whatever action happens on the screen. Without the screen, it has nowhere to project, right? But once we place on the screen, it doesn't touch the screen, because screen will remain like that. Okay, the same thing with us too. Our body mind has a drama, has a play that has to go through. It does go through, and it is not affected by any of the uh, happenings on the in the movie. That's what happens in life too. So if you could really understand that you are the witness of the life events, and you can remain that witness, then you have really resolved a lot of suffering. Okay, that's the idea. So the way take shape in the middle of the ocean as the ocean of awareness, for example. Look at that way. And then it has gained momentum and raises and evolves into a bigger wave, and then goes down and eventually goes to the shore and crashes there. Just like we are born, we gain a personality, we gain a body and mind, and then we go to the end of the life and we die there. But our life force, our consciousness, whatever that is inside, will be um, continuing other life. That's the whole of ancient wisdom conclusion. So if you know that you are that life force, and you end up in that life force and be the witness that you are, and watch everything as it comes, like whatever it is, and then goes away from that. Okay, so that is the essence of this article that I posted there. I don't know whether I can place it on the uh, wisdom. Then I will be able to uh, make my friends read it there. So let's see. There is something here. Let's see whether I can put anything. No, there's an advancement of that. Uh, Maybe on this one, right? Yeah, think so. Okay. Anyway, the topic is more like seeing the suffering that comes when you identify with what we really are not. We may think this body is me. No, body, you have the body. And you see the thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and all that is comprising of the mind is me, or the personality that we grew out of is me. That's a mistake, right? So then you will not be able to step aside and be the evident eyewitness of that. Okay, once you are evidencing what is happening, then you have a distance between your thoughts and yourself, your emotions, so you are not really immediately reacting and causing all sorts of hormones and everything with you, but you can take a step back and then make them go down. Okay, so this is a very profound lesson if you can learn it. Suppose all this came out of one thing. I was having a meeting on the Zoom, like we do all this time here today, right? And I was talking to this technician who are going to develop an app for me, and they are doing it. So she had this backdrop of a ocean. So we were talking some things. Then I wanted to explain some to her. Somehow we came to the conclusion where I pointed out to her, look at all those waves that you are next to you. All those waves are like our thoughts. But then look at the deep ocean where it is all silent. That is where our real awareness, real swarupa. That means our real self lies there, right? So, can you be in that deep, calm silence and not be perturbed by the superficial waves? Because essentially, that is the depth, that is the big silence that you have within you, right? So, once you are kind of calmed down your superficial mind and landed up in a real self, which is really deep peace and happiness itself, then you will not mind about the superficial thoughts. That's how the whole thing I was trying to explain to her about how to be in awareness and use thought rather than being the slave of the thought, and thoughts come whenever they want, and thoughts come whatever they can, and then we're always waking up a lot of thoughts and then pursuing them, and then feeling miserable or agitated or irritated or happy, whatever, right? So that's a thing that we teach people about how to meditate, how to calm your mind, and then end up in that silent self of yours, right? Many people don't take the time, many people don't want to do this, but then many people are trying, are doing reflective exercises, and kind of control the thought and then develop that. I think that's a very important aspect of modern life, because we have so much information coming at us and we have so many things doing at the same time, multitasking, multi intimations, multi notifications, and then the whole thing is designed to, hi Alka, so that whole thing is designed to uh, bring us out of attention. Whatever, if you are paying something attention to something, then deliberately the social media and everybody, they try to disturb you, right? Like that, so many things are happening. So be aware of the deeper awareness that you have, be aware of how we develop these thinking patterns that say that no, no, we are this superficial waves that you can go and finish off whatever, and then wave after wave things come, and you identify with the wave and you are in suffering. Okay, so this is after a poem in ancient wisdom I read. It's called Purnamadam Purnamidam. What it is that which created us is full, and out of the fullness we came as full. So if we can identify that fullness in us, not the superficial mind or body or anything like that, then we are really blessed. We are out of the sufferings of our mind and body. That's the essence that we are talking about. Okay, so I wrote this article based on that, and I wanted to tell people, take an ocean, imagine that is the Brahman, that is the ultimate reality, out of which we manifest, our minds, our thoughts manifest, and then our thoughts and the mind and body will be perishing, but then not our real self. So if you are a wave and then your substrate is water, then the wave may take a shape, take a form, and then go and crash on the shore, but the water still remains. Like that, the ancient wisdom taught us that we are not body mind, but we are that inner awareness. So that is a substrate on which our body and mind manifest. So if you can, there are spiritual practices. Main thing is by knowledge, by knowing what you do not know, that you are the real self. Then by understanding, by studying, by learning, you will know about it. That's called gnana yoga, right? And then by your knowledge you are liberated from your own ignorance, and you'll end up your real self. And the real self is the substrate, and that is like water. The water is substrate of the wave, and the wave takes a form and goes like that. Our substrate is a conscious being, takes a shape, and then we should not be identified with those temporary things. That's the essence of the ancient wisdom, actually. So that is expressed in this. So any problems understanding or any problems uh, doubts about this, please come up and talk to me, and I will tell you. All the people on the wisdom, I'm telling you. um, Otherwise, this article will help you to. It's on my LinkedIn. If you want to go and check my LinkedIn profile, Rao Kulisu. Okay, linkedin.com/im/. Rao Kulisu. It will take you there, and you can check my all articles there. But this article was put in this afternoon. Okay, so it should be there. Uh, so, Alka, what do you think about this article? Did you have a glance at it? I did paste it in the clubhouse, and Alka is in clubhouse. That's why I was talking to her. So this is not like a instruction you can give about this. This has to really have people go into their own inquiry mode and really go through the questions that come up from your own inner energy, and then discover them by having an insight into what the meaning of that is, the symbolic meaning. What is our experience about these kind of things, and where is our mind is it open to receive this, or is it something like a caught up with its own fundamental aspects, so it cannot open up and absorb these kind of insights. It all depends upon each individual's development, maturity, and appetite for this kind of deeper truths. Okay, so or you can come up and talk to me. I will explain some things to you. Otherwise, just read the article. Go to the LinkedIn connection as I gave it to you, and this is also on my YouTube too. So you can go and read it there. Essentially, it all started with I was talking to the technician, and then we talked about awareness that is like a deep sea, and out of which the thoughts happen that are like simple waves. So let the wave go to its course, and then it will come back being water, right? Like that. We may say so many things, but our underlying awareness is really, they named it also Sat Chit Anand. That means existence, consciousness, and bliss. That means that is itself is existing all the time. It has no birth and no death. That substrate of ourselves, which is the being, is always there. It doesn't have birth or death. We may wear a clothes like our body and mind, and then we discard them at the end of life. That's the essence of it. There are tremendous advantages of really getting into this kind of practices and realizing that it's not like a belief. It's not like somebody has given you a book, you read about it and you get it. You got to have an inner investigation, and don't listen to anybody's conclusions, but you examine your own conclusions, your own thoughts, your own feelings, and then it takes a lot of time for a lot of people. Many people don't even take time to reflect, to meditate, to really understand what is what, right? Then once you understand your own conditioning, getting out of it takes a lot of time. Once you get out of it, to really touch this kind of space I'm talking about and establish yourself in that takes a lot more. So it's like a very arduous process if you don't really shut down your mind and listen to the truths. Okay, so hopefully that will make some real good field of investigation and questioning and exchange of opinions and all that. Okay, but this makes perfect sense to me because I always told you I have landed up in that awareness, which is very silent, so I don't really react to all the ordinary things that much. But at the same time, you just go and help whoever you can help. by really expressing these insights that may catch somebody. So I never expect anybody to follow whatever I'm saying. All I am asking is listen and then go and investigate. Come and discuss. And then, if any doubts I can clear, I would always be happy to do that. Okay. But a lot of people may be living in that energy, maybe are aware first, and then thoughts are used. That's fine if you are like that. Then you will agree with me that so blissful, blessed ones we are when we really know who we really are. So I don't think I identify with being a doctor, even though doctor is a role that I play. I don't identify with the informatician, even though I play a role. I don't identify with the yogi. That's also the same thing. So I kind of stay in that energy, which is really quiet and serene and blissful, and then going through the life in a blissful manner, taking both the difficulties and the good things at the same equal keel. Okay, so that kind of thing happens to it will happen to everybody. Okay, so I hope you go and read that article, and if you have any questions, DM me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about. Okay. So, anybody wants to come up? I'll give you a minute. Otherwise, I'll be closing the room. Okay. So,